With this, the Hawks will start a 6-game homestand with an L. I'm pretty sure this is a game the defense would like back. Hawks lose 7-4 against the Columbus Blue Jackets at home to start the 6-game homestand that will extend pretty much to the end of February. This one was rough. Not on the offensive side. They put up over 30 shots, something you should probably aim for every game. They put in 4 goals. That's a good offensive performance, at least for this team this year who is just struggling to score. Too bad 4 goals still ended up. We scored 4 goals and we still ended up losing by 3. And frankly, what I can pin a lot of this on was that the fact, and what I think a big reason on why this was such a rough game was it was a front half to a back-to-back, so Marc-Andre Fleury can't play both games, and since Lankinen is still out, we have to play Arvid Soderblom, and, well, the Jacket exposed him, and the defense didn't really do many favors. Yeah, he just didn't have a good game. I mean, he was just getting beat on pretty standard shots. I mean, a couple turnovers by the defense, but for the most part, these goals that he let up, especially early on, were goals that kind of felt like it was just, a certain player, a Jackets player, just moving in and just shooting the puck, and it ends up beating them. It's just unfortunate, and they couldn't recover. They kept the game competitive, though. That I will give them that. The unfortunate thing is that the Jackets would pull away towards the end and get up back by 2 because they went up 2-0. Hawks came back, tied the game, and it was the Jackets regaining a 1-goal lead and the Hawks able to close the gap, but they couldn't get the job done in this one. And, well, that one just is one that you want to have back, especially defensively. The Jackets went up 2 goals 3 separate times in this game, 2-0, 4-2, and 5-3. Hawks would tie the game at 2-2, but never tied the game after that. They were playing behind the whole game, and this is one thing that the Hawks have struggled with all season. If they fall down behind 1 or 2 goals early in a game, they can't come back. I can't recall a single time where they were down 2 goals in the first period and came back and won that game. The team has to get in front early to have a chance at winning. If they fall behind early, this team can't play behind. They need to play up in front and just hang on because, I mean, even we saw in Detroit a 4-0 lead shrink to a 4-3 lead by the end of the second period. The team is just struggling overall. They get a lead and they can't, hang on. They win by multiple goals. It's usually through an empty netter or in a really high-scoring game. And then if they fall behind by a couple goals in the first period, they just can't recover. And even if they tie the game, like in this game, 2-2, it just shows that the game's just not going to be good because I don't think the team had played really bad in the first half of the game and played really well in the second half of the game and won. Because there were several times early in the season where they just sucked for the first period and then played well for the last 40 minutes, but because they had a terrible first 20, they lost the game by multiple goals. I don't think they've actually gotten a win in those situations. They've played well, but because they had such a bad stretch, they don't win. And it's frustrating because you go into a game like this after going 2-1 on a road trip, winning 2 games in Canada, and you expect to beat the Blue Jackets, and you lose by 3, and you let up 7 goals. I don't want to blame this game on only Arvid Soderblom, but I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have to put at least some of the blame on him because he just did not have a good game. At least in the game against Calgary that he did start, he played at least decent, and the team let up another, 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of the game to make it look really bad. But, he kept the Hawks in it. They were in the game. Where this one, they try to claw their way back in, and the offense, you can't guarantee they're going to score 8 goals every game. They're not going to do that. On a good night, they'll give you 3 or 4. That's a good night for the Hawks. They'll give you 3 or 4. Yeah, the team just needs to play better defensively, and especially in a performance like this for the offense, 4 goals. I just, it's a frustrating way to start a 6-game homestand, but there's plenty of room to right the ship in this homestand. By no means is this homestand even close to being over. We still got 5 more games to go. So hopefully they can turn a 180 and get a W in this next game against Dallas. One of our 2 home games against Dallas this year. Our second of 3 games this year, is the scheduling allows that 2 teams in our division, we will only play 3 times instead of 4. We play Winnipeg twice on the road and Dallas twice at home. So it's our first of 2 home games against the Dallas Stars, and they're still in the mix of things. So they for sure have something to play for. They have something to play for, obviously, but the Stars are much more realistic for them, if that makes sense. I mean, if there's anything to take away from this game is that we did get some production from our depth players. Kurashev scored. Ryan Carpenter scored his first goal of the season, and McKenzie Entwistle picked up goal number 5 on the season. Seeing him at the end of last year, I was not expecting him to score 5 goals. I was really expecting him to kind of be floating around in Rockford for most of the year and being called up when injuries kind of piled up, or if some people couldn't show up, and we needed other people. So I mean, good for him. And DeBrinket's close to 30 goals. He put up another goal in this one, his 29th. But as for me, who knows how much longer some of these players are going to be sticking around, and who knows what the Hawks are going to do at the trade deadline. So it looks like they're going to be sellers, and Fleury is actually on the trade block. He's been in conversations for a while, so I would not be surprised if he actually left and was going to be picked up by someone at the trade deadline. So holding on to these games with Fleury as long as possible. So he'll most likely get the start in the next one. So that's going to do it for me. If you liked it, please hit the like button and hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.